Trying to think of what the upcoming free mini classes are here.
We have
your fear of speaking up, anxiety.
Let me run through them for you.
Depression. Are you going to turn this around for me, or?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. Anxiety, depression.
All right, we have psychic, medium, or empath.
Oh, right, right. When is that?
The 26th.
Of this month?
Yep.
Okay. What is that? What day of the week is that?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Hey, everybody, can you hear us okay?
Okay, very good.
Yep. All right, thank you.
Hi, guys. How's everybody doing? Okay. I appreciate your likes here on the video. You could share this with others. That would be great. If you have not already done so, please do subscribe. We're going to give this a second for a few people to tune in. But while we wait, you can start posting your questions in the comments. Please do include names of anyone that you're referring to, or if you have a question about your job or a new business that you're trying to launch, your pet, whatever it is, try to include names there as well. If you feel that it's private, you aren't comfortable giving the actual name, just put the initials down. I can work with that, but it does speed up the process. We want to give as much time for your neighbors as we can. Okay. Paul, anything else you need?
No, the names thing is big. Don't make me chase you down. Because I will, and then I will give up if you don't answer, so.
Probably. Okay, so I do want to, while we wait for a few people to tune in, to talk about some of the upcoming classes and things that are going on. So here at the Ivy League Psychic Academy, we do have numerology class beginning Thursday, September 24th. This is a 4-week course, so once a week, it's 2 hours per class. And you're going to be learning the basics of numerology, your life path number. What does your numerology chart look like? What is the meaning behind these numbers? Number patterns to watch out for, is some of the history of numerology and much more. Danny Johnson, our numerology teacher, will be bringing that to you. And we're doing this through Zoom, all of these classes still through Zoom. And we've actually been doing classes online for 8 years now. So that's not actually new for us. It's just that since COVID hit, we've transferred everything that way. Now, this will be available for you. If you can't attend, but you want the video download, that will happen every week after they're done. And we did a free mini class last night with Danny Johnson here on YouTube. And I do believe that's already published. So you guys could check that out if you want a little taste and a preview about the numerology class. We also have coming up Psychic Mediumship Development course. I teach this alongside my assistant teachers here at the Ivy League Psychic Academy, training you in the lost language. This begins October 7th. If you have not already registered, you're going to want to do that. There are 2 pathways to learning. So if you prefer the video downloads, you could do that. If you want to join us through Zoom and use that with a combination of video downloads, you can also do that. So there is something to fit everyone's schedule. We also have Intuitive Tarot starting on October 20th, being taught by Paul Casey Healing Arts. That is a, 8-week course?
Heck yeah.
I was going to say 6, and then I thought, that's a little short. So yeah, that makes more sense. Beginning October 20th, 8-week tarot course. Again, that's already been published. So if you can't join him live through Zoom and you would prefer the video downloads, you could do that anytime. We have Walk-in Night Monthly Psychic Fair, 100% virtual, $15. Gets you 2 readings, 2 healings, a reading or a healing from the comfort of your own home. You can be read and receive these healings from students and graduates of the Ivy League Psychic Academy. It does sell out every single month, so you are going to want to get your tickets ahead of time. And that is September 25th, which is a Friday. For all of this, you can just go to ivyriverapsychicmedium.com. Looks like we have a few people tuned in, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going
That's a good sign, right?
Fast and furious.
Fast and furious. That's how it is. Okay, but that's good. All right, so, yeah, so if you're ready then, Polly, I will go ahead and do my introduction and we'll get started.
Yes, please. Let's do 8.
All right. Okay, I did let the cats outside, so we may want to listen for them. So welcome, everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium in a Taino Arawaka. I own a school called the Ivy League Psychic Academy, where we train people in everything from psychic mediumship development to astrology to tarot to numerology to Reiki, you name it, we do it. And we invite you from wherever you are in the world to join us online for those classes. This is my weekly show. I do this every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern called Ask Ivy. I'm taking your personal questions, and your weekly horoscopes go up today and tomorrow, so check them out. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I appreciate you doing so. Don't forget to hit that bell for alerts when we go live or post a video. And I do want to say thank you to everyone who has been donating for either this show, your horoscopes, or the free mini class series that we've been putting out since the quarantine began. When the pandemic hit, we've been putting out 1 to 2 free mini classes per week. And if you hit the playlist button, there's a full list of everything well organized there. Thank you, Polly, for that.
Hey, you're welcome.
And we do appreciate your donations. I would also say that we really appreciate all of the support, because today we hit our 4,000 hours of viewing, which puts us in a different YouTube bracket. And now we can be taking donations here and doing a lot more with advertising and things like that. So we are upward and onward. Okay. So feel free to post your questions, psychic, mediumistic, lost objects, paranormal, spiritual development. You have a weird question for me, whatever it is, everything counts. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Yeah?
Yeah.
Very good.
Very good indeed.
All right.
Okay, we have one from Movie Hits Creepy Pasta, who asks, do you know if I'm going to have a house of my own with a game room in it and me living by myself?
I saw a roommate. So you living in it. I think what I'm seeing is you creating your own space in it, but there being somebody else there. This can mean one of 2 things. You will have a roommate, or you may be in a duplex type setting where a house gets split and you're keeping your game room. And yeah, it's almost like it reminds me of almost like if somebody did up a basement, area and made it their fun room. There could be someone living on the other side of that wall. And so they're not really in your space, but technically somebody else seems to be existing in your space. So the answer is yes and no, a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, good one. We have one from Natalka.
Okay.
Am I on my right path? I'm feeling kind of lost lately.
Well, I mean, we could look at, I don't know if you're looking at like relationships. I don't know if you're talking about like where you live, your residency, health, work. But I was feeling that you might be referencing more, let's put it this way, spirit's referencing your work. And I feel that what's really happening is that you may be experiencing a period of time in your life where you're kind of treading water a bit and feeling as though anything that you get, not just money, not just finances, but any kind of resource, it's almost like anything you get sort of goes right back out. Or another way of saying this is that you're not feeling very uplifted by the payout that you're getting in life. And this could be affecting your relationships, your day-to-day work, your health, your energy level in general. And I think that what you really need to be concentrating on is what it is that you want to be doing with your time. I think that you've had an attitude with relationships of taking whatever sort of falls in your path. And I think that you've had an attitude with work of taking whatever maybe crumbs fall on the floor, whatever becomes available to you, and thinking that that's the responsible, right, ethical thing to do, is to just hold on to those people or to hold on to those things. And they're not necessarily coming from a place of truth within you. It's almost like you didn't create that. It just happened across your path and you took it. So there does need to be more of a focus on what it is that you passionately want to do. And I think that that may have a lot to do with movement within your work and your career, more of an opportunity for you to be in a position of power or control and to sort of dictate. It's almost like, here's what I have to offer. I'm going to come, I'm going to bring that, and then I'm going to move about and I'm going to bring it elsewhere. So yeah, there is some room for change here. Mm-hmm.
Very good. We have one from Ashley.
Okay.
Do you see me and Jackson getting back together?
I think it's possible, but I would not recommend it. And I think that it's possible that it could be almost like more of a physical thing. And so I think that's something to really be mindful of, whether we're talking like full-on sexual, or we're just talking kind of physical, or we're just talking sort of like a toying around, you know, with that energy there. I think it's really important that you're not really giving your heart over. You're not giving your physical availability over to this person unless we're both on the same page and we're being completely honest about what we want. Like, what does that mean? You know, it's one thing to get involved with someone else intimately like that if you know that you're both being completely honest with each other and that you hope for the relationship to be going in the same direction. And if we don't have that, I have you sort of with an attitude of willingness to minimize yourself or to disrespect yourself or to sort of blow off your true feelings and to say, oh, it's okay. I'm just going to take it light. I'm just going to be lighthearted about it. It's okay. I'm just going to roll with it. It's almost like I'm not going to think about it. And then before you know it, you find yourself out at sea in an uncomfortable predicament that is hurtful. And I think you need to be more protective of yourself. And I think that you have to also realize that when you're not really being mindful and processing what it is that you want and feel and being completely honest with that, that's also a bit unethical. And so you're also presenting as though it doesn't matter when it really does. Okay, so yeah, I think that there's a lot of mismatching going on with this relationship. It's not much of a partnership. And so I would not recommend it, even if it can come back in that physical way.
Very good. I just want to say again, please include names. And for anyone asking ahead of time too, yes, initials are okay. So
if you need to do initials, do them. If you can't just give a first name, that would be best.
Okay. We have one from Rosalie.
Okay.
Who asks, what are Steve's intentions for our romantic connection?
What is this person's name?
S-T-E. I don't know if that's his first name, last name, initials.
S-T-E?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I got.
So Rosalie wants to know, what are his intentions for their relationship?
Yeah.
I'm under the impression that he looks at you a certain way, and that may have a lot to do with thinking that, how do I want to say this? He seems to think that he understands you. He seems to think that he knows what you want. And he seems to think that you would be willing to lead this relationship and to cultivate this relationship and to sort of control or reach over, you know, a boundary to keep it going. And I don't know if that's from you talking about previous relationships or talking about how you see your love life and the goals and plans that you have for your love life. But there is some knowledge he seems to have from something that you presented, showing him how to be with you. Okay, so what we present to others is how we're going to get treated, basically. And I think that he's under an impression that you would be willing to reach and stretch beyond what would be appropriate to, like, get this relationship to work. And we could say that in some ways this would be like serving him or, you know, parenting the relationship. And I think that you need to make it very clear that that is not the plan and that that wouldn't be happening. And I think you might see a different tone come out of him once that's presented and made clear. Okay, so he seems to have some pretty selfish intentions, really, with this. I do think that he's charming. I do think that he's entertaining and he's charming. I think he's cute. I think he's got an ability to be very kind of entertaining in the way that it's like comfortable and sort of exciting at the same time. And so it's entertaining different areas with you. It's like sort of like maybe sexual stimulation. It's also like intellectual stimulation. It's sort of that comfort, that down to earth thing also. So I could see how this would be enticing. I also think it's really important that you're making sure it fits in with the stability that you're looking for.
Very lovely. We had a couple movie hits said thank you.
Oh.
And I drove by the other one really quickly, but I think it was Rosalie said thank you.
Okay, you guys are welcome.
Yes. We have one from Danica.
Okay.
It says, there's an old friend of mine from high school that I think about often. Any chance we'll reconnect and be friends again? And her name is Anita.
I saw a football field or some kind of track and field, thing. So I don't know if you guys did a lot out there or if that's just part of like the high school field. But I felt very outdoorsy, and I saw you guys laughing, and I saw you guys being really down to earth with each other. So there's an honesty and a sincerity here with this friendship. I also feel that she may have been going through a lot. And I think that this is someone who maybe lost a lot of sense of who she was or had to go through a lot of trial to get to that. There may have also been some family problems, whether this is like neglect or abuse. There could have been some things that really took a bit of a toll on her. And I think that while you guys had this great bond, this is someone who got very tied up in her life for quite a while, trying to, at this point, I think, just get things organized and moving in a healthy direction. And I think it is possible, for sure, that you guys could end up talking. I think that would be invited and welcome. And I think something simple like a social media account would be a great way to go about that. I think it's important too, and this is sort of a message for everybody, that when you feel that you're thinking on someone an awful lot, or they show up in your dreams a lot, there's a pattern of a presence of this person, even way beyond what their actual physical existence is in your life. It's because you aren't done learning the lessons of that relationship yet. And so there's talk in psychology about people who are even on their deathbeds and are leading up to the dying process, how they talk about relationships from way back. Even in their childhood, we continue to learn and grow from relationships and bonds that we formed. And the important ones can be lifelong. And this does feel like one of those. Yeah.
Very good.
So sort of ask why, what did this relationship mean to me? What did I get out of it? What did I learn? Things like that, because it may be really applying to where you are in your life right now. Okay.
Very good. We have one from a combo account, Jen and Carrie.
Okay.
We are both looking to transfer from our coding positions to remote positions at the San Francisco VA hospital. Do you see how likely it is that they would hire both of us?
Not so much. Yeah, it feels like one and the other it being discussed and then put on the back burner, and then somebody else being hired or something happening, and then I see files going up and collecting dust, and then it just being a little bit like, you know what, I moved on with my life, onto something else. I do think that it's worth a shot, but I can't give a 100% guarantee because technically this falls into a free will zone, which means there are too many hands in the pot that would be deciding. And so it can be changed by their choices. They have free will. But I would say there's like a 30% chance, that the second person would be hired. Yeah. But I think one. Okay.
Cool. Very good, very good. Yeah, it was Ashley who said thank you before.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
The questions are coming in very fast. I've been really up
I see
against
the smoke
today.
coming out from your hat.
Yeah. Okay, we have one from Monique. Another romantic interest question.
Okay.
What can you tell me about D?
I feel that this person is... There's something about the eyes. I don't know if they're Scorpio or Pisces. You know, in the chart there somewhere is a big influencer, but I see these really almost... I heard smoky eyes. I don't even know what that means, but I was going to say like mystical, you know, kind of deep. There's a depth there. And I see this person, like the eyes are the window to the soul. And some people who have really deep eyes, you kind of know that they're an old soul or there's a lot going on there. I'm just not always sure it's being maximized in the best ways. And so it's sort of like you look at this person and sometimes there's this this great connection and you see all of these potentials, and then this person can also be a bit immature and really walled off and unavailable. And so I think it's important to choose people who are capable of investing in a relationship with you long-term, if that's what you're looking for, and are capable of different levels of intimacy without becoming scared off and, you know, threatened in some way. This person has some healing to do. Okay, so maybe therapy, maybe therapeutic, and sort of learning how to deal with feelings of abandonment, or when this person goes through a trigger of any kind, they may be very independent, almost so much so that they have cut you off and walled you off, and it's like, I have to fix my problem. I have to think about my problem. I have to find solutions to my problem. Reminds me of that Virgo mentality. It's like, I'm going to fix it. I got it. And no one else can get in there. So it could be a little tricky, but it fluctuates. It goes back and forth. So it's all about whether or not, you know, depends on what you're looking for. It's colorful.
All right. We have one from Sherelle.
Okay.
Does Spirit have any messages about a potential romance in the future?
I do feel someone coming in whose weight seems to be fluctuating. And so that can mean that this person, you know, is dealing with self-esteem issues. Sometimes when I see somebody putting a lot of weight on, it's not literal, it's symbolic, but I also had it going between like thin and heavy. And so we could see that this individual is, you know, kind of combating some issues, whether it be like food addiction, using food as comfort, self-esteem stuff. Regardless of that, and I think that we would want to just be mindful of that that's something they may be battling, and it can lead them to, it can give you some explanation about why they lived their life the way that they were, okay, or why they do certain things. You have to understand everyone's triggers and odd spots. And I think that this person brings a lot of sincerity, a sweetness, sensitivity. I see a lot of empathic ability, like an empath on the 3rd level. If you're not familiar, I have a class called Empathic Awareness you might want to check out. This means that this individual is very intuitive, may also be involved in like community projects or youth assistant youth programs, or I mean, really anything. There's a sense of this individual understanding the universe and how it actually works, but not always knowing how to get the healing that they're deserving of, and how that comes first, you know? So, yeah, I think there's a lot of potential here. I think there's this lovely potential for both of you to sort of, it's almost like take each other by the arm and offer each other that support and guidance in how to heal and how to grow. I see 2 arms linked and walking down a path collectively, which can also represent marriage potential. Okay. Good things.
Good.
Yeah.
Danica, well, Jen and Carrie said thanks, and Danica said that it's really cool that you picked up on the track. There was one right next to their school, and they laughed a lot when they were in touch.
Yeah.
So that's really, really pretty awesome.
Good. You're welcome. Thank you.
We have a fun one from UHF Station 1.
Okay.
When people die and decide to stay earthbound or return to the earth later, are they unprotected from something?
Yes.
Are they unsafe as they were when they were alive? And if they had a bookshelf full of unfinished books, could they read them?
They had a book. No, not so much. So no to the last part, but are they unsafe and unprotected? Yes. We have a class up on the website called Hauntings, Clearings, and Detachments. And I train my students in psychic mediumship development and discernment a lot. And one of the things that we talk about straight out of the gate in the very first class, we talk about discernment and how we are never to channel through the Ivy League Psychic Academy and the PSC method earthbound spirits. And the reason for that is not that we don't love them and not that we're not here to support them or help them, but everyone has a choice, and humans don't change just because they die. You know, they're still a human being with a spirit and a soul, and they still need to make right choices and take responsibility for that, or for those choices and actions. And when we see earthbound spirits, we see people who have chosen to stay on the earth plane instead of transferring into the light. And in the light, we have a set of rules, and that requires that we let go of things like fear, ego, hatred. We have to be willing to grow, and we have to be willing to serve and evolve. And those that are unwilling to do that, for whatever their reasons are, do stay earthbound and are not protected. So it's sort of like saying humans are a source of energy, and humans do best when they are connected to the light. So when you're alive, you have more protection from the light than you do when you're deceased and earthbound. So if people say like, well, this is hell, you know, life is hell on earth. It definitely feels like hell, but not that I believe in hell, but you know, it can feel like hell, but you want to know what really feels like hell is not even having the protection that you get, not even having the benefits that you get, you know, throughout your entire life experience. And that's what being earthbound is. You really have no shield, no shelter. Now you can have access to all that, but you have to be willing to grow and evolve and go into the light. So yeah, it's not a good situation. I just basically look at humans this way. We don't belong here. We don't belong here. This isn't our home, and we weren't meant to stay. So, you know, you overstay, you're welcome. You don't want to be the last one to leave the party. It's never a good scene, right? Not good.
No, I was often the last one to leave a party.
So was I.
Yeah.
This is why we would have gotten along.
I often didn't leave.
I know. I often stayed for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But, you know, hey, whatever. That's not a great example. But, yeah. But not good. It leads to trouble. Leads to a lot of trouble.
Certainly does. Monique said thank you, and Sherelle said thank you.
You're welcome.
We had a lot of questions this week, you know, about love and moving.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this one,
I just want to say real quick, love and moving. I don't know if you guys follow my daily messages, but yeah, I think it was yesterday. I put up a daily message on Facebook, and it does go up on Instagram. And I had tagged our numerologist here and our astrologer here at the Academy, and I said, geez, you know, I'm seeing an awful lot of breakthroughs with situations that have been going on for 2 weeks, 2 months, 10 months, and 2 years. And the astrologer got back on, Christina Del Rey, and she commented on some major planetary shifts that are going on right now, and some that started a couple days ago, one of them being Saturn. Saturn is releasing circumstances. So we do have a lot of change coming up right around the corner. So I'm not surprised to hear these themes.
Yeah, here's one from Betsy.
Okay.
She says, I have some opportunities for jobs, some for relocation, and far away. Is relocating the best thing for me now? And she said that there's a hospital in Palm Beach and a hospital in Maui.
Ooh. Well, I feel very excited about it. And so, you know, if I did a little energy jumping into how you would feel with these, I would say that either could work. Palm Beach has an awful lot of energy about it. And what that can mean is that that's the easy, it's like the path of least resistance, you know? And so, yeah, it could also be coming up soonest. I do, however, have a grandmother who steps forward here, or a maternal energy, I want to say, who let her hair go quite gray, kind of like a darker gray, you know, on the bottom. But she says, speak up, speak up, speak up. And I do feel with you a bit of a pressure in the throat. We would call this a closed throat chakra. And what that can mean is that you are either not speaking your truth, or you did, but it wasn't really received, and you haven't set proper boundaries. There are going to need to be some changes. And the fact that I'm getting this, especially over here to the right side of your throat, this represents the future. So going forward, make sure you are speaking clearly, concisely, saying what you can bring to the table, saying what you want, and don't second guess yourself. or be timid in any way. Yeah, I think it is the right time. And I think those are good locations. But I would say the first one will probably work out the easiest. Yeah.
I like it. We have one from Leslie.
Okay.
Said, I had a one-night stand long ago which resulted in a pregnancy.
Ah.
My son Austin would love to know his birth father. All I know is his first name was Karl. Will they ever meet?
Karl?
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Karl.
Good thing you got the names. Say it again.
Karl.
Karl. All right, so Karl, will they meet? I feel like it's tricky. I feel that Karl is, it's funny because when I go over here with your son's energy, it's sort of an old soul. There's a lot of wisdom there. There's sort of a calm center, a knowingness, an independence. It's like an old man, in a little kid suit. And it's funny because that seems to be an interesting combination of your energy and Karl's energy. Karl, however, has these bouts of sort of high-strung energy and maybe very involved in projects, very able to get focused. I wouldn't be surprised if your son took on a lot of almost like the engineer's mind, capability of understanding how systems fit together, and somewhat obsessive, desire to focus on projects like that. And I think that it could be kind of hard to grab Karl's attention because he doesn't seem to, let's say, he seems to be a little sheltered in that, where his head always sort of goes toward a project and he may not be out there as much as some other people. But I do think that you could potentially track him down. And I am hearing it's almost like in the same location where you guys were. And there may have been a relocation at some point 3 states over or 3 towns over and then back. So I think that I think you're going to have to look at the hometown in order to track him down. Yeah.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. I think they might end up meeting. Yeah, I think that this can happen. And I think it would be good. I think it would be good. He's just a little detached. He's a little bit in a world of his own. But with news like that, that could also, cause for more of that to happen. But I think that Austin is also very realistic, very mature, in expectations.
It's good for a kid to be that.
It is.
Yeah.
They're like older than us sometimes. Yeah.
Everyone's older than me. Very not mature.
That's right.
Yeah. We have one from Aquarius Yazzie.
Okay.
What do you see for me and OJW?
OJW. Well, I think that this is a relationship where you could find yourself putting in a lot of work and a lot of effort, and you could feel like there's great teamness going on there. Both people are really coming to the table and bringing a lot of partnership. And I think that it's sometimes a free will decision for someone to maybe backpedal on some of their better choices. And so I can't say 100% that will happen, but there is the potential for some trust issues to come to the surface. And so I think that what's really important when I see the potential for a client of mine to invest this much energy and to find that they have a partner who's also willing to invest that much energy, that can become even stickier than being in a situation where someone wasn't bothering and you kind of know you're going to walk away. I think that one of the things that we might want to watch for in this relationship is any signs of dishonesty, and just make sure that it's not enough for someone to come to the table and be willing to partner up and be level and have reciprocity there. It's also important to have other things like transparency, complete honesty, vulnerability, and this person needs to really understand who they are. Sometimes when we're dealing with people who don't really understand themselves, they're okay with hurting other people or being deceptive to meet their own needs, and they don't really seem to understand how destructive that can be. And so I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm just saying it's a potential to have happen. And so watch both of those areas. This stuff is great. That's awesome. I'm loving this. Now let's just make sure this is in conjunction with that. Now we have something to work with. Yeah. We'll see.
Very good. Betsy said, thank you for your perspective. And Leslie said, thank you, Ivy, with a big heart.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, we have one from Pauletta.
Okay.
How many spirit guides do I have, and what are their names?
Well, you know, one of the things I talk about is that no psychic should be giving you the names of your spirit guides, first of all, because most of them don't come with names, so that's not even real. But second, that's a relationship that falls on your responsibility to build a bond with your spirit guides. And one of the things that they use is their own energy, their own representation with you. And so that's something you should be doing with them. We have a class up on the website called Meet Your Guides, where I lead you through this process. It's 2 hours long. You'll meet each one of your guides individually, and you start building that bond. Don't let a reader come in and start telling you who they are. They're often wrong, and names are not a given by any means. We have to remember that guides and angels don't have ego, so ego, representation, that's really a human condition. And what you do have, though, are 5 guides. So everyone comes to Earth with 5 guides appointed to them, 2 angels, and then, of course, you have your ancestors. And so with the guides, what we see is a joy guide. That is your spiritual development guide. This guide also watches over your mental and emotional well-being. You have a relationship guide who's watching over all of your contracts that you have with others in relationship, as well as your love life, soulmate connections, things like that. Then we have your work and money guide who's watching over your paycheck, your day-to-day work, but also your life contract, meaning the work that you signed on to before you came to Earth. You have a protector guide who's watching over your physical health, your safety in relationship to others, and any kind of preservation issues that might come up there. And then you have an Akashic record guide. Your Akashic record guide is watching over your past life information and how it applies to this current life. So if, for example, you were reaching a point in your life contract where you needed to wrap up some unfinished business from a previous life, your Akashic guide would be stepping up and working with you more during that time to make sure that gets completed. Yeah. Some have extras and some come and go too, but that's basic.
Awesome. Yeah, and that class, I put the link here. There's a clickable link in the description, but it is one of the best classes. It changed my life. It opened my eyes like mad. It was just fundamental.
Love it. Yeah. So Paul put it in the link below, but it is really something that everyone needs to take. Everyone should understand that they came to Earth with a supportive network, and we should be working with our guides every day. Every morning when I wake up, true Paul, with my cup of coffee, 20 minutes, I sit with my guides every morning and I say, show me what I need to know for today. And I would not skip a day of that ever. Yeah. Huge, huge. Great question.
All right. We have one from Sarah.
Okay.
Says, I was recently told that I was supposed to be moved to another position in my company. It's definitely a step up, and I'm wondering if I'll be transferred, promoted soon, and she works at Seneca Nation.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's talk of 3, could be 3 weeks. I was feeling more like 3 months, and I don't necessarily feel like it was removed as an option for you. I feel like it was postponed, and that could be due to anything like, COVID, or let's put it this way. According to your work and money guide, there seems to be environmental issues. There seems to be issues within the structure of the business itself, the company, that would have created a stalling out. And then it was almost like it was going to go forward maybe a month ago or a month after. Let's put it that way. A month after you heard it, it was like it was going to go forward. And then 2 to 3 weeks later, it didn't again. So there's just a lot of obstacles in the way. And they seem to not have anything to do with you. And they seem to not have anything to do with even the management there. I think it's outside circumstances. And I would seriously wonder if literally it's COVID related. However, talk of you advancing over the course of the next 3 months, or at about 3 months out from now, seems very realistic. And I think that what's just important is to speak up and just be like, hey, remember me. Remember I want this, remember I could do this. Remember you need me, and then it's sort of like, yeah, okay. And it might speed it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks good.
You got 3 interestings while you were talking about the guides.
Guides, so important.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Definitely. We have one from Leanne.
Okay.
It says, are there any messages from my Aunt Val?
Mm-hmm. When I go over here with your Aunt Val, first of all, she's, I feel like she has a lot of wisdom about her. She's sort of refined in some ways, and she is also interesting in the way that she speaks. So I don't know if she had a funny way of speaking or if I'm just sort of watching her mouth and her communication. I feel like when she speaks, it's entertaining, but I also feel that it's valuable. Okay, so it's valuable. And she may not have done a ton with her hair. I almost feel like kind of letting my hair do what it wants to do. She's talking about how beautiful you are. She's talking about how smart you are and how strong you are. And how as you go forward, you're going to be doing more for other people and you're going to be receiving more blessings from the world. And I'm proud of you for this. It's also really important that you don't hold yourself back right now. So if there are things that you've been wanting to do, don't stall or postpone or second guess yourself. And remember that not everybody else has to be on board with what you want to do. If that's what you want to do, that's what you should be doing then. Okay, so find a way to propel your life forward where you could still be in community with others, but not necessarily make your decisions based on them and their judgments or their positions. Okay? She's going to be helping you with that. She's also leaving you little stones, little rocks. I saw hummingbirds or like a smaller type bird following you. And one of these stones was, interestingly enough, almost like an emerald or a crystal, a green one. And I believe that has a lot to do with healing, does it not? Self-healing. Okay, so like you may be finding yourself on a self-healing journey and a spiritual journey right now. And she's working with you on that also. Pay attention to ringing in your ears. She does ring your ears and put messages in your head. Okay? Yes.
Very good.
Yes, song lyrics too.
Pauletta said, thank you very much. And Sarah said, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes, I want this.
I want this.
I want this job.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, we have one from Cameron.
Okay.
With a Y.
Uh-huh.
Is my 23-year-old sister Hunter going to find love soon? She seems a little lost at the moment.
I don't think it's time for that. Yeah, I don't think it's time for that. 23?
Mm-hmm.
It's not anywhere in the ballpark of being time for that. So is she going to find it? I don't know that it would be of tremendous value. I think that when we want that so bad and we push for that, sometimes we end up getting nothing but a whole bunch of bad lessons, and there are easier ways to go about it, like allowing for the soulmates that are written within your contract to come and cross your path and then to just work with those. I don't see anything really going on with this until she's about 27, 28. And so I think that anything she were to do in the meantime, it's kind of like treading water, sort of wasting time and energy. And I think what's really important right now is that she's focused on herself, her own development and self-growth. And I think people around her could learn a lot from that, And I think that when she gets distracted from that, she doesn't do so well. There also seems to be a lot of focus on her career. So I think she's trying to figure out what she's passionate about and wants to make sure that she's not wasting a ton of time, energy, debt, years, working on something that isn't really going to last for her. And I think that's really important, that she's putting her focus on that, career building and what she wants to do. She has a strong voice and she believes in certain things, almost like in a revolutionary kind of a spirit. And that would be best for her to put her focus and energy on. And through that revolutionary spirit, that voice, that leadership, she would, I think, actually end up meeting a valuable love partner. So interesting dynamics. Yeah. But love right now, no, not so much.
All right. We have one from Julie.
Okay.
Do you see me moving soon? And if so, where?
Well, it felt like it was an option. Technically, this would fall into a free will zone. So it's up to you whether or not you choose to do that. But, Polly, 4.
Okay.
And I think that it felt like you were moving from one place to another place nearby, or we would almost say from like one house to another house, one apartment to another apartment. It really didn't feel like a major move, like out of state or overseas. It felt smaller, and it felt sort of almost like a stepping stone for you. Like it's not your end all be all by any means, but it does feel to me like it could be a move upward for you. So if you've been feeling like you want to get out of where you are, I think that this is a good time to do that. However, because technically it falls into your free will zone, it's something you would have to push and promote. It's not the type of thing that's just going to fall in your lap. If it were destiny charted, it would be blatant and obvious, and it would all be there, and it would just sort of come to you. And this is not necessarily that. But I do think there needs to be some movement, yes.
Ooh. Both Leanne and Cameron said thank you with hearts.
You're welcome.
I love the hearts. It's a lot of love.
I don't know how they make those.
I
sit in there and I try to figure it out. I don't know how you guys find them. Emoji. We have to download an app or something.
There's an emoji button over
Oh,
there.
really? Yeah.
I always forget it.
I tried.
I type them and they come out.
I gave up.
Like crap. We have one from Ginny.
Ginny?
Ginny.
Okay.
I have been smelling cigarette smoke a lot lately and I don't smoke. Can you tell me who this is?
So, didn't we just put up a free mini class called Claire Augustine?
We did not.
No? That's weird. Okay. So, anyways, it's called Claire Augustine. Okay. So the ability for those of you who ever smell phantom odors or flavors, and you can sometimes even taste the brand of the cigarette that the person is smoking, or like what kind of liquor they were drinking, whatever it is. And so this can happen for a couple different reasons. Someone is coming around you in spirit who smoked that way. It can also happen sometimes as a warning that there's a paranormal problem. So I don't want to rule out either one because we're doing these questions in 3 minutes or less. Okay, so I'm just going to give you all the potential options. If there has been a negative accumulation of energy from someone dealing with some kind of sickness or recovery, or if there's been any kind of anger, depression, aggression in the house, we could see an accumulation of that. What I'm really feeling with this, though, is that someone is passing through, and I do feel male energy passing through the property and doing a little bit of keeping an eye on you, especially at night. Now, should this become a problem, like I said, we have the hauntings, clearings, and detachments class up on the website. You could also book a paranormal consultation with me at any time. But the fact that I see it happening a lot at night, and the fact that I see it happening when you're on the couch or when you're resting in the living room area, is a sign to me that this person is trying to sort of get your attention or is taking interest in you. And I don't know that it's super productive. Okay. I don't know that I see it as a huge issue. If you feel uncomfortable, you can most certainly tell them to leave.
Very good. We just got a flood of hearts and an emoji tutorial.
What? I have to figure this out. Now I'm obsessed.
Everyone's very helpful. Yes,
Awesome.
Danica is, showing me the tips.
Love
So,
it. Thank you.
We have one from Charisse.
Okay.
Says, what is my sister Shantae Anna saying to me? She passed in April.
What is she saying? The first thing that I get with her is the sense of something coming up into her throat. So whether that was like almost like a choking issue or, blood coming up or some kind of fluid, I feel like I'm not able to really catch my breath here. And she makes me feel like one of the things that she's doing with you is coming in and giving you physical sensations. Okay, so that's called clairsentience. We were just talking about Claire Augustine a minute ago. Now let's talk about clairsentience for a minute. That is when a spirit comes into your energy field and they're trying to give you physical impressions, in your body to let you know that it's them. So this is one thing that she uses. Is it uncomfortable? A little bit for sure. But I think it's important that you understand that everything you're feeling in your body when she comes around to talk to you is not your own. Okay, so what is mine? What is others? That's coming from her. She also makes me feel like she's trying to communicate with you through dreams, and that there's some type of an anniversary coming up here soon or right around this time, a birthday or an anniversary. And she says that what she's trying to do is to let you know that she loves you and she's doing well, because I feel like you worry about her. I don't know if you think negatively about her passing or if you think sometimes negatively about where she is, you're not sure, but there's no need to worry. And she wants to let you know. She said, I just want to let you know that I'm here and I'm keeping you company and I'm helping you. I'm helping you. She feels like the younger sister, even though I didn't think she was. So she comes through with sort of a younger spirit, like this light energy. And that can be very uplifting, especially if you're going through hard times. And so she just wants to help you through. And she said that sometimes you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. And sometimes you don't understand where the light is at the end of the tunnel, or if there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And whether this be with like work, this be with family, situations or responsibilities or money, it's like she shows up extra around that time to remind you that it is there. Okay. Sometimes she wants you to just sort of pull out of your circumstances and let your brain go. Don't overthink things. Okay. Just sort of remove yourself. And just go with the flow, and you'll hear more from her. Yeah.
Awesome.
She has a lot to say. We could go on and on and on, but she's awesome. She's a tremendous support. She has great energy. She loves your energy. She says that you just have a heart of gold, and she misses that, about the way you guys could share.
Yeah, while you're going through that, Charisse was commenting, she said, wow, it was the trachea. She said, she's a butterfly in my car.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, you're a gift. And Ginny said, thank you. She's going to schedule a reading and sign up for classes.
Very good. All right. Thanks, guys. Absolutely.
Yes, very awesome. We have one from Kim.
This last one? Okay.
It says, I've just been blindsided by a lawsuit recently by a corrupt entity, PBSP. How do you see this turning out for me? I'm really depressed and negative about this.
I see it really coming down to being one person, and they come through as a male. They come through as a white male, and, don't take this the wrong way, but in symbology, in my base, a white male can represent total authority, potential corruption, one individual sort of stepping up and having a final say in the way that things go. And so that's the symbol that they're giving me. Is that literal? I'm not 100% positive it is. So ultimately, though, what it's going to mean is that this is coming down to one person in a position of authority who would be very willing to say whatever needs to be said in order to get that agenda met. And if that means being corrupt or hurting others, there will be no ethical code of conduct followed here. So probably what you're feeling is the battle itself. When we have an ugly battle on our hands, we can feel very much like, oh, this is hopeless, or I just want to get out of this, but I think what's really important for you to do is to be sitting. I would definitely, if I were you, I would be sitting with your work and money guide and your protector guide every morning, and possibly even in the evening until this has passed, for about 10 minutes, and ask, what should I expect from this today? Is there anything I need to be working on? And are there any pitfalls? I think that it's going to require that you're very invested in it. And so it's almost like, every decision that you make along the way counts in a big way. So if we were to say that this is going to break down to 3 or 4 dates or 3 or 4 meetings, we would be able to wrap it up just about after that. And so each one is really important. And I think it's important also to not kind of come... your protector guide is showing you kind of coming to the table, and your work and money guide is also here, as well as a grandfather who's, I feel like, smoking cigars, talking about, don't come with sort of a victim attitude or like a humdrum or kind of, how sometimes we kind of droop the eyebrows and we kind of droop the face and we kind of, this is a victim. I feel like come like a lion. And I feel like come very assured, and understand it's sort of like look at your opponent and not only match that, but go higher than that. Okay, so don't take a submissive attitude going in there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. A lot of free will here, a lot of hands in the pot. I think really I would be able to give a 100% guarantee on how the turnout is going to be after that 3rd meeting. So up until then, it depends a lot on how you handle it and things like that.
Here we have one from Mary.
Okay.
Says, I'm having trouble trusting people within my inner circle. I don't know whether I should continue to put my time and energy into maintaining these relationships or just move on. And she gave me 2 names.
Okay.
Addison and Mike.
I don't know if they're like a couple or if they're related in some way, but they feel related. And they seem to be the same. Okay. So there's a way of saying that, is that they seem to be sort of the same in character, the way that they handle things. Mike doesn't really seem to care a lot about other people. And so I think that it's very possible that Mike will just sort of do Mike, and that's the end of that. As far as Alyssa is concerned, I feel a lot of similar focus on oneself and not a ton of consideration for the community or the group, and definitely not a ton of consideration for you. So if we were to say that Alyssa is very good at paying attention to a couple key relationships, it may be very, very small circle, like immediate family or, immediate friends. Like there's not a lot of wiggle room here for other people. And so I do actually feel that these relationships are not worth your time and energy, because what I like to do with my clients is just look at what you can get back out of it. Okay, so it's not just about how long it's been there. You could have something there for 50 years that's completely worthless. And so you could have something for 2 months that is amazing, a tremendous value. And I just don't see any kind of payout here. And so, it's not about being selfish in relationships and saying me, what can I get? But it's definitely about boundaries, reciprocity, and self-respect. And I just don't know why you would want to bother putting in a ton of energy here. Yeah. Sometimes you can't count on someone you've given to for many, many years. Can't count on them for $5. I mean, you just don't know, it's like, forget this. So I would move on. I want to say this too, every time the bus stops, somebody's got to get off. And in order for a door to open, other doors have to close. And especially when we're talking about evolution within your own life, spiritual development, your work, important things for you, the universe is going to require that you let go of relationships. That's typically the first thing to go, is relationships that are holding up, tying up your energy in any way. And as they go, you start to see more important players come in pretty quickly. Okay. All right. Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you next Monday, 9 p.m. for another Ask Ivy. And don't forget that your weekly horoscopes are going up, some probably tonight, maybe, or tomorrow afternoon around 1:30, 2 o'clock. Hit that bell for the alert and be sure to subscribe. Again, thank you so much for helping us hit that 4,000 hours of view time, which just moved us up into a higher bracket here in YouTube. I appreciate all your support. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Paulie.
You're very welcome.
Have a good night.
Everybody.
Thanks, Spirit.